If you've been wondering if you can get a mortgage after bankruptcy, then you are in the right place. Hi, my name is Scott Hastings. I'm a loan officer based right outside Charlotte, North Carolina. I help clients get residential home mortgages in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and soon Virginia. So, a lot of people, when they call me, think that they've had a bankruptcy, it's going to affect their credit for 10 years, they won't be able to get a home, and that's just not necessarily true. So, when I'm talking about bankruptcies, I am talking primarily about a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. That is when you wipe your slate clean and start over with no debts. Now, on your credit report, it of course is going to greatly affect your credit report for a while. And your credit score is going to go down quite a bit, and it'll take a little bit of time to rebuild it. But in this video, I wanted to go over some basic differences in the types of mortgages you can get according to how long it's been since you've had your bankruptcy, and also offer some tips on how to get in a good shape to get a mortgage as soon as possible after the bankruptcy is discharged. So the first thing to know is that it's according to the discharge date. So when you file for bankruptcy, you would typically go and meet with a bankruptcy attorney. You would fill out a bankruptcy petition, go to the bankruptcy court. The judge is going to grant you the bankruptcy, and that's the day that it'll be discharged, and you will get a discharge, paperwork for the bankruptcy. And that date of discharge is the date that mortgage lenders go by to determine when the clock starts for you to get a new mortgage. And the basic guidelines are that for an FHA mortgage, Federal Housing Administration, it's 2 years from that discharge date. For a VA mortgage, it is also 2 years from that discharge date. So if you're a veteran and you've gotten your certificate of eligibility to get a VA mortgage, then you have to wait 2 years. For a conventional mortgage, and you've probably heard of Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, that would be what I am talking about, conventional mortgage. It's going to be 4 years from that discharge date. So a lot of times people also think that they can't even apply for a mortgage until that time period has gone by. That's not necessarily true. You can actually apply for a mortgage and, be, say, in a pre-underwritten status, just waiting for that date to arrive before you can close. Now, when it comes to these different timelines for bankruptcies, ultimately, all things mortgage are typically relying on the particular underwriting system that lenders use for each mortgage type. So an FHA mortgage, for example, is going to be underwritten through Desktop Underwriter. The underwriting system is going to read your credit report. It's going to look at the income that's been entered. It's going to look at bank account balances and so forth. And when the credit report picks up the date of that discharge, it's not going to allow it to get an approve eligible until that period has passed. So that is kind of a stumbling block, but that is just something to know. There are ways to get ready for a mortgage right after you declare bankruptcy. The main problem I see most people do is they don't apply for new credit fast enough. So as soon as you declare bankruptcy and you've been discharged, you're going to start getting probably a lot of offers in the mail to open up credit cards. And a lot of these are going to be for very small balances, and they may be for what's called a prepaid credit card. I would say do this as soon as possible, because the longer you have a clean credit history, the better. So many times I'll see people that didn't get any new credit, and really their credit score hasn't improved. It's still bad. Or the opposite is also true. I see people that have um, applied for credit cards soon after the bankruptcy was discharged, and of course you have to make all the payments on time. I can't stress this enough. You cannot be late at all for anything. It's good to never be late, but especially after bankruptcy. So when I see people that do that, then the scores, they could have over a 700 score by the time the 2 years is up. And then you're really in good shape. You're back on the road. Um, one thing that you need to keep in mind, though, is a foreclosure. So if a house was included in the bankruptcy, then although that's not technically a foreclosure, the bank did not take back the house. In the eyes of lenders, whether it's FHA, BA, USDA, conventional, they're going to look at that as a foreclosure. So that's going to have a different waiting period of time, and I'll cover that in a separate video. Or if you have questions, particularly about foreclosure timelines, put them in the comments, and I will definitely answer them. I will take the minute to say, if you find this content helpful, please, it would really help me out a lot if you would click like and subscribe. Thanks. So the other things you can do, be careful of things like medical bills. I see people's credit get blown up. Even though the credit agencies say they're not reporting late medical payments and so forth, I still see it happening. That can really tank your credit score. I see this happen a lot of times when people go to the doctor and they think that there was a copay that was supposed to be paid or not supposed to be paid, and somehow it slips through the cracks and their credit score drops 100 points. The same is true with collections. I was just looking at a credit report this morning, and a lady had perfect credit her whole life. She was about 60 years old, and she had a charge off from I think it was Verizon or something, probably a $50 bill that she missed, and that made her credit score drop from over 800 to under 700. So be super, super careful of that. Really that sort of covers the general stuff about bankruptcies when it comes to mortgage. The main thing I would say is don't be afraid. Don't think that you're going to never be on the road again. The best thing you could have done and maybe have done is to go ahead and declare bankruptcy. That gets you back on a clean slate and a path to start again. And that's the right that you have under the U.S. legal system. So don't be ashamed. I've seen it a million times for different reasons. Just start afresh. And if you have any questions about a mortgage, whether it's after bankruptcy, foreclosure, self-employed, jumbo, any questions, please reach out to me. You can find me on my website, mortgagesbyscott.com. There's a link in the comments below. Again, if you found any of this helpful, please click like and subscribe. Thanks.